Welcome to Topo 2 Trails. I'm Ryan. Join us today as we cruise San Diego's East County. We're going to be finding old hot springs, broken down train cars, learning about San Diego's outlaw history, doing a bit of hiking, and most importantly, eating some good food. Come with us as we cruise East County's main street. We left downtown San Diego and headed east. When the 94 and 125 split up, we passed through Spring Valley and made our way into Rancho San Diego. In Rancho San Diego, the 94 and the 54 split apart, leading us to our two-lane destination. Our first stop on the trip is the historic Sweetwater River Bridge. It was built in 1929, and it's a Parker Truss bridge that was unique for its era. It was bypassed in 1987 by the current bridge that you can see right here that is still working and still used on the 94. The stop that is right next to this is the San Diego Wildlife Refuge. This is actually the parking lot that we parked in to go to the Sweetwater River Bridge. This is a big hiking area with a lot of open space, over 12,000 acres of wildlife, hiking, and biking trails. It was very, very green when we were there. We walked for about a mile. As you can see, the trail is pretty easy. It was pretty flat, very well marked, not overgrown in any areas. Here you can see the space start to open up. We have many different options for trails. We just went around in a little loop, seeing a bit of the green grass and the beautiful mountains in the background. There are a bunch of different trail options. You're going to see quite a few people here. We saw a lot of families. It's a pretty easy walk, accessible for anyone. There's also some longer trails. The Sweetwater River Trail goes further and follows the river that we crossed over in the bridge down into some more open San Diego backcountry. Now back on the road, we're passing through the town of Jamul. This, I would say, is the last bigger settlement that you'll see on the 94. This is where the area really starts to open up. You can see as we get down to this road, it's just two lanes, extremely green, and everything just seems to really sprawl out in front of you. I would definitely recommend doing this drive in the winter months. Although it's my first time, it was nice to see how green it was due to the recent rain we've been having, and not to mention how hot it would get during the summer, especially as we get closer down to Jacumba at the end of our trip. On this road, you're going to see a lot of motorcyclists, day trippers, and other adventure enthusiasts. Keep in mind that it can be windy and narrow in many sections. It might not be for everyone, but if you have the will and you want to figure out what lies on the 94, it is definitely something that I would check out. Our next stop on the trip is the town of Campo. Campo was one of the bigger towns on the drive, having just under 3,000 people. There are a few notable stops here as well. There's the Pacific Railway Museum, the Motor Transport Museum, the Camp Lockett Museum, but the one that we stopped for today was the Gaskill Brothers Stone Store Museum. The Gaskill Brothers Stone Store Museum is a fantastic stop on the drive, and one that I recommend to anyone who makes the trip. The stone store, which was built in 1885, was the direct result of the 1875 attempted robbery and shootout that occurred at their wooden store, which was previously just a couple hundred feet away. The 1875 shootout is considered to be the second deadliest civilian shootout in American West history. That is only trailing to one that you may have heard of before, the OK Corral shootout in Tombstone, Arizona. Right in front of the Stone Store Museum, you can see the train roll by. This is one of the trains from the Pacific Railway Museum that I was telling you about. They do train rides 3 times a day, Saturday through Sunday. And this is one of them that we got to see as it went by. Definitely a cool sight to see and something that I would love to check out in the future. The dirt road in front of the store is actually the old San Diego to Yuma wagon route, otherwise known as the Cook Wagon Road. The Campo Stone Store was the first stop on this route that was anywhere between a 6 to 10 day journey from San Diego to Yuma. This was the first stop where you would fuel back up, get everything ready, and begin your long, treacherous journey. As we continue further down the old wagon route, we can see they have quite a few interesting museum displays. First up, they have the old blacksmith setup. They have a lot of old tools in a different area where you could see them working. As we walk over here, we see they have an old turned over wagon. And as well, we have the site of their original homestead that is no longer here. that I believe got washed away in the Hatfield floods in the early 1900s. Further down the road, we see the picnic area. This would be a great spot to get out and stretch your legs along the drive. As we walk over here, we see the exhibit. This speaks about the San Diego to Fort Yuma wagon road. It tells you a little bit more about the history and what was really going on the road. As we look over, we can see the replica wagon. This was a cool exhibit along the trail that you could see what one of the wagon really looked like that would have been going along this road back in the day. As we walk up the stairs, we go into the second story of the Campo Stone Store Museum, and we are welcomed into the military exhibit. There are a lot of informational kiosks in here that tell all about the goings-on of Camp Lockett. You can learn about the Buffalo Soldiers, the history and uses of Camp Lockett, and even about how they laid down the law in the Old West. They have cool things like dioramas of Camp Lockett, and you can see old maps of what they used to look like. Jack was even having such a good time, she showed us some cool dance moves before we had to go. If you do head out this way and make the stop like I highly recommend, keep in mind that they do request a $3 donation per person. Walking into the Campo Stone Store Museum is almost like being transported back into the late 1800s. With all the artifacts, maps, and different historic relics, it felt like you were really in the era. As we go into the cold storage cellar, this is the area that the Gaskill brothers actually tunneled into the rocks behind the store. It stays 66 degrees year-round, and it was there for them to hold all their fruit and vegetables. The store was built to be a fortress. With 3 feet of stone going around each side, it was built to last. Nowadays, it's ran by the Mountain Empire Historical Society. The President Wade was our host. He was so welcoming and full of information. It was so amazing to see all the different pictures, artifacts, and history. It really felt like you were able to embrace what was going on during the times of the Gaskill brothers. As we leave Campo, we look to the right and we can see the Pacific Railway Museum. Although I didn't get to it this trip, this is definitely something that I want to come back and do. Along with the entry to the museum, you get to go take a 45-minute train ride, so maybe see a video on that in the future. The last attraction you'll see on the way out of town is the Motor Transport Museum. The museum is home to over 300 different motor transport vehicles, and is housed in the old Feldspar Mill. Next up on the road is the Campo Creek Baja Railroad Viaduct. This bridge is part of the Arizona-San Diego Railroad and was built in 1917. To our right, there's a little area to pull over, get out, and take a few photos. We didn't pull over till after the bridge, but looking back on it, that is where I would have stopped. When we pulled over, we got out, took a few photos, looked around. I also hear that there's a trail that actually lets you go up to the bridge, so maybe in the future I'd like to check that out too. After the bridge, we roll into the town of Manzanita. This is technically where the 94 ends and meets up with Old Highway 80. We're going to hop on Old Highway 80 and keep on going until it meets up with the 8 right after Jacumba Hot Springs, which is our final destination. As we reach Jacumba Hot Springs, the road bends southeast and we get pretty up close to the border wall. You can see it throughout your journey, but here is probably where you get your closest, and it'll be in view the whole time that you're in Jacumba. Our final stop of the day trip leads us to Jacumba Hot Springs. Coming in at just under 900 people, the town has unique attractions for locals and tourists alike. Our first stop in Jacumba is the old bathhouse. This is a 1920s old-style hotel/healing retreat that burned down about 30 years ago. There's a little information plaque out front that gives you a bit of an idea of what they did here. We went inside and checked out the interior. You can see they have some tables and chairs, different stuff to host events. I bet you it'd be pretty cool to see some live music or something like that out here at night. As we left the old bathhouse, we began our way onto the Jacumba Lake Trail. The first thing that you're going to see is the informational sign that tells you a little bit more about the area. As we pass the sign, you go to some of the old ruins of the hotel. The ruins look to be like an old pool or spa. Now it's filled up with trees, old plants, debris. After the old pool, we found one of the hot springs. I'm not sure if there are more in the area, but this is the only one that we walked up to. It seems pretty accessible, and I imagine that you're allowed to get in it. There was some water actively coming in. We went and dipped our fingers in. It felt warm. Definitely would have been nice, especially on a cooler day like it was. And I'm sure that there are people that get into it.
Oh, whoa!
As we take the left-hand path, we're welcomed to views of Jacumba Lake. The 7-acre lake was a restoration project that was designed to serve as a hub for different recreation activities in town. With different kayaks, cabanas, and other fishing sports, there's a lot to do. There was a lot of solitude. We only saw one other couple as we were there, but it was definitely a cool spot to check out and something that I would recommend if you were in the area. On the back side of the lake, as we got over the ridge, we looked and saw some old train cars, and we saw that the railway passed through this area. We made our way up to the old abandoned rail cars, and as you can see, there's a beautiful great blue heron that just took off right in front of us. Being able to see that in flight and get a semi-good video was definitely a highlight of the day. Being able to get this up close to the old rail cars was really cool. On the maps, I believe this is called the Old Jacumba Rail Depot. Something that I would recommend to anyone who's in the area and is up for a bit of a walk. Although the cars are a bit older and outdated, they've probably seen better days. It was cool to see that up close and personal nonetheless. The area was also empty. We didn't see anybody else back here. Our final stop of the day, and what I would imagine is the most popular, leads us to Jacumba Hot Springs Hotel. The hotel also has a restaurant, which we stopped at. As we go inside, the atmosphere was great. You can see the paintings of the desert and a western feel. It really goes along with the vibe. Just got done at Jacumba Hot Springs. That's going to do it for our time on the 94/Old Highway 80. Great stop. Some great food. Chicken sandwich, fried chicken sandwich. I definitely recommend that. I definitely recommend the stops we had along the way, and definitely come check it out if you haven't been out this way. I never had before. Definitely had some fun exploring San Diego's East County. Thanks for joining me today. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like or subscribing. I'm hoping to have some more videos out soon. If you like this stuff, I also have an Instagram and a TikTok where I post more short form content.